Welcome to the city where the buildings are black, the streets are calm, the sky is purple, and the moon is full. It is lit 24/7, 365. Got the latest news and games, comics, movies, and television. Welcome to the City in the Twilight.
Welcome to the first episode of City in the Twilight podcast, starring Zachary.
That's me.
MitchellMatthewsMedia. That's me. Joey. Jack.
Hey everybody!
And David.
I was forced to do this.
You know, I think that we should have brought Joey in last, considering that he's a guest star and everything.
Shows how much they love me and one of the co-hosts. And
I should also think we should have a format and should have practiced this. But, you know, whatever.
Fuck the format, man.
I'm not getting paid enough for this.
Okay. You're not getting paid at all.
Well,
First of all, wow.
David, get back here! So, today we're gonna be, I guess, laying down the law as well as reviewing two movies. We're gonna be talking about the newest movie that came out yesterday, Captain America: Civil War,
And,
Before we start going any further, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into this podcast and subscribing to our YouTube channel, City in the Twilight. Look it up later.
don't do it.
you guys should totally do it.
Alright, before we talk about the movies, why don't we talk about how this all started? Zachary?
Don't you mean we're laying down the law?
I want to know the intro story to this. Why don't you enlighten the viewers?
Oh, the intro story to this?
Yeah, how'd this all start?
A long time ago, in a land far away.
First question. First question. Why the name City in the Twilight?
Why the name City in the Twilight?
Why the name City in the Twilight?
You know, I was actually waiting for episode 15 for a Q&A session.
Well, guess what? We're doing it right now.
I wasn't
actually asking
It's not a Q&A session. That's my only question.
why is it called City in the Twilight?
As to why it's called City in the Twilight, well, I'm not going to explain that now. I'll explain it later.
You'll explain it in episode 15?
Translation, he has no clue why.
All right.
He's just winging it.
This is falling apart, so let's move on.
No, there's going to be an audio file that's under this one, you know. It's going to have some Morse code. That's
Zachary, this is not
very
welcome
slowly.
to Night Vale. People are not engaged enough at this point to actually,
I'm pretty sure
listen
that
to
there's
your
going to be someone who's bored enough that's going to actually download this audio file and be like, let me see if this actually exists.
Yes, you heard it here first. The only way you're listening to this is if you're bored out of your mind.
All right.
Shows the quality content you're gonna hear.
Okay,
on
fine.
here.
Let's actually go into what we're here
Let's
to
get right
talk
to the
about.
news.
All right. City in the Twilight. In the future will be a podcast where we talk about things movie, television, gaming news, and comics. But for now, this is just an introduction episode to show you who we are and what we talk about.
So, guys, let's talk
Pointless
about the
stuff.
movie Green Room.
Wrong episode.
It's about a room. The room's green.
You wait in it.
Hey, it has Patrick Stewart in it. He was at least in a superhero.
That is not a movie we're
so
talking
we can
about,
totally
Joseph.
Do that.
All right. Let's start. Let's talk about Captain America: Civil War, starring the Human Torch, whoever the fuck Sebastian Stan is, the guy from Weird Science, Lucy, whoever the guy in 8 Mile was.
I just said Clarence.
Oh, thank you.
No one listens to me.
Finally, the right Peter Parker.
All right, so let's start off
We'll get to that later, though.
Let's start off
Right,
with
Peter
some
Parker.
initial thoughts. What did you all like about Civil War?
Peter Parker.
Okay, so who wants to get started on what they actually liked about Civil War?
All right, ladies first. Mitchell.
Thank you. All right. Well, me personally, I love Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield pretty much disappointed me on every level with his portrayal.
Andrew Garfield was great in this, then realized he was talking about the wrong movie.
No. Tobey Maguire, I loved his movies. I can watch the first Spider-Man over and over again. So I was really
second one.
true. So I was really excited to see how Tom Holland, and he pulled it off just as good as Peter Parker. As YouTuber Bobby Burns said, he basically played what Tobey Maguire did, but at the right age, which I fully agree with.
I think that Spider-Man: Homecoming is in pretty good hands at this point
I
because
agree.
Yeah, it's in pretty good hands.
really good hands.
This guy, he was so
Some very
quirky.
sticky hands.
I also liked the.
Is that a web joke?
I also like the fight scene from when
joke?
from when Paul Rudd shook hands with Captain America far too long to when Rhodey was shot out of the sky.
So, yeah, I really liked that second act fight scene, like the end of the second act. It was really, really good. They threw in a lot of creative stuff. Spider-Man's quipping a bunch.
He means
Sorry, minor spoilers,
scene.
everybody.
And
it's just a little
the
bit.
third act of the movie was like World Star in a foreign country.
No, that was like World Star soap opera, man.
I don't know.
Well,
feel
you
like
saw in the trailer how they're teaming up on Iron Man,
That
and
was-
he's just left defending himself.
That
I
was
feel
Two
straight
senior
out-
citizens just beating up some rich dude.
That was straight out
Upset.
WorldStarHipHop.com. Then you
Yeah.
saw the rest of the movie, and you were like, damn.
Well, the thing is, I feel like at this point, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has gone on for so long that it is nice to see them clash with each other a little bit. Now, I'm someone who actually reads the comics, and obviously this didn't really adhere as much to Civil War as the storyline, but in the context of, like, the actual Marvel Cinematic Universe, this seemed like a very logical step.
Oh, yeah, and Captain America, he got arrested, you know?
He did get arrested, like, in Civil War again.
Like the
minor
good
spoilers,
American
seriously.
he was, he got arrested.
Now, just to be clear, I was a fan of Civil War for the most part, but the people in this room will disagree with you, maybe even some of you listening. I thought Winter
To the one
Soldier...
person listening.
Yes. The Winter Soldier, in my opinion, was overall a better film. Why? Let me explain before anyone complains.
Oh, no, Winter Soldier's amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
I know, but why it's
I wouldn't-
better.
Why it's better? Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, I love Civil War. The first act, or at least the first half hour or so, well, some people said it go too fast. I believe it just kind of dragged on, and I didn't really connect with a lot of it. But then I believe after, like, around the airport scene to basically the end, I was hooked from the get-go. But for Winter Soldier, I felt like I was very invested fully, and like that did what like The Dark Knight didn't treat it like a superhero film per se. It treated it like a different genre, while The Dark Knight treated it as a crime film. Winter Soldier, as many said, feels like a true spy espionage film.
I can definitely see what you're saying there, because Winter Soldier was much more of a procedural, like, espionage film. I get that, and honestly, that really kicks the pacing up for the film, like, really well. Like, that opening boat scene is, like, really amazing. Like, there's some great stuff there, and I can definitely see, but the thing is that Civil War is more of, like, a interpersonal relationship film, and yeah, it does take a while to kick things up. Like, Black Panther obviously is not, like, introduced the best at the beginning of the film.
But Chadwick Boseman did do a great job,
Oh, he
just
does a
like
great
42
job.
and Jake Get On Up.
He does have kind of a shallow, like, arc during this film, but, like,
Yeah, right,
and it
he
does
does.
take them
Not really.
it does take them a while to get, like, steam pushing in this film. It does not start off, like, immediately, like, going forward. Like, I know there's an opening action sequence, but that opening action sequence
Was
like
great.
it was really good. It had some shaky cam moments with Black Widow I wasn't really a fan of.
It was more
but,
the 3D effects messing with it.
Okay, fine. It might have been the 3D effects. But anyway, yeah, there was more to like in the opening act of Winter Soldier, I will admit. And it
I'm gonna
does
also
kick
say this.
things up
I
a lot
regret
faster.
you getting us tickets to see it in 3D because the beginning of the movie, the cameraman looked like he was having a seizure with all of that shaking going on.
The only nearby theaters were in 3D.
It looked
We
like a
didn't have
Paul
choice.
Greengrass movie.
David, is there anything you disliked about the film?
Sure, I'll think of it in a little bit.
In a little bit.
Well, we'll come back to David on that one.
I'll be here all week.
Probably by the time that we're shitting on the second movie, he's gonna say, "Oh, you know what I didn't like about Civil War was."
Okay, guys, now we're gonna talk about that.
Before
awesome...
we move on, though, what did everyone think of Civil War as in score?
I'd give it a 9. I
9.
really, really enjoyed it. It was like, there was some like wonderful stuff, and it packed such a serendipitous, cathartic, emotional punch at the ending there with the big reveal. Minor spoilers again, I'm sorry about that, but seriously, there's something there. It's
Alright.
amazing.
Maybe I just need to like tag like the big letters spoilers.
Come on, there's not really that. It's not really
Alright,
that.
2 9s, and I would say probably maybe an 8. But before Zack gives the score, why doesn't he talk about Black Panther?
No, I'll talk more about my score.
This is where we get into spoiler section if you really want to talk about Black
No.
Panther.
First,
Yeah, first
one of the reasons why I want to give it a 9, and I think this movie had the same problems. The same problem that one of the problems Batman v Superman had, where it felt like too many transitions were just cut out. Because all of a sudden in the movie, the character hadn't appeared at all, but all of a sudden Hawkeye's just there. He's like, "Hey, let's come on!" And it's just like he appears out of nowhere.
I feel like there's some
He was nowhere. He wasn't
But
in
Batman
any of
v
the setup
Superman-
scenes, and it just felt like too many transitions. He just
And
cut
also,
out
Age of Ultron, they heavily pushed Hawkeye, his retirement because of his family, but now he's just all out back into it.
I understand that, but Batman v Superman had the biggest issue of not having any establishing shots, which this one obviously had actual establishing shots, which you're supposed to have in movies.
Hey guys, we're not shitting on Batman v Superman yet, but we do need to.
It sucks.
Overall, it was an 8. I was a fan of Spider-Man in particular. I was a fan of Ant-Man. I was a fan of Iron Man. I was a fan of everyone, basically.
Yeah, it was all pretty cool.
They all had some dragging moments, and everyone did pretty great portraying what they had to portray.
Zemo was pretty cool. Yeah, that worked.
Yeah, it was
they actually had a villain they didn't kill off in the first movie. That was nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead, Zachary. What's your score for the film?
My score, like we already said before, it's 9 out of 10, and that's just because, the fucking Black Panther thing picked off an entire point for the movie.
Oh, come on, Zachary. That's how it's supposed to make you feel.
We won't delve into that now. You should just go see it for yourself.
Oh no, we will. It's because he's just sad the character's not 2D. They actually gave him motives and decisions, and Zachary just doesn't like that.
No, I just don't like
sorry
how
about that,
literally
Zach.
at the very end he changes
Spoilers,
his mind.
Spoiler.
Like it was nothing.
Buddy!
Okay, let's move on before Zachary rants.
Sorry, he's a dynamic character.
All right.
So, guys, we're going to talk about that awesome movie Green Room that's out now.
No, still the wrong episode.
Come on, it's Fox. It has Patrick Stewart. Actually, Green Room, I don't know. It's Fox.
All right.
But still, Patrick Stewart. Yeah, guys, he's also in superhero
Speaking of
movies.
Fox,
Now, let's move on.
Speaking of Fox.
You may have loved Civil War, but there's an even more fantastic film you want to see. It's called Fant4stic, starring Adonis Creed, the guy from Whiplash.
Yes, and rip-off John Cusack.
Billy Elliot / Tintin, and whatever Kate Mara has played before.
Oh, House of Cards girl. She gets pushed. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to tell you that. That's
I have not seen House of Cards, so thank you for stopping yourself. What did we all think of Fant4stic, David?
I know that we're like months late talking about this, but this is really funny.
maybe like a year late. So
Well, this is part of a superhero double feature. One night a great film, one night a bad film. But let's start with David O'Keefe's thoughts on Fant4stic. He's just staring at me right now. Please.
David's drinking the movie away.
Guys, this movie is a piece
Just
of
like
shit.
Zachary did last night.
Oh yeah, like how I drank Civil War.
Please, David, any thoughts?
This movie is literally a piece of
Okay,
shit, guys.
well-
more dynamic in me drinking this cup of water than there was between the characters.
If only you could... Yes, he has more emotion in drinking water than some of the characters do.
Like, here's the thing. I think that what Josh Trank was trying to do was do something like a David Cronenberg, like The Fly, body horror kind of stuff. But it fails because...
He tried, I'll give him that, but he shouldn't just keep going on about how there's a better version. He should just step up for how it turned out.
Nah, it's fine. But the thing is that why it fails so badly is because there's just too many plot holes in here that don't make,
But
like...
before we go on,
much
how
sense.
badly did it fail, you ask? Well, I looked up some facts. It cost $120 million to make and only earned back $168 million, which $40 million is kind of a profit, but not good for a blockbuster.
It basically sucked.
It earned an 8% from critics overall on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm pretty sure a 19% audience rating, which is never that
It's
low
a
unless you know it's
9% audience
shit.
rating, I think.
And at the Golden Razzie Awards, which is basically the Oscars for shit films, it won won Worst Picture and Worst Director.
Well, the fact that it was in the Razzies, that
That's not a good sign.
That automatically means you're a failure.
if only Josh Trank was there to say that
And
about
which
his
is
Twitter
kind of
quote.
sad because Josh Trank directed Chronicle and works with Max Landis on Chronicle. And honestly, I really love that movie, and I like a lot of the work that they did on that film. And I understand why he got the job to do this Fantastic Four film, but it's so sad to see something like that happen because that Chronicle is just a great movie. So, yeah, but hey. unfortunately, this kind of stuff happens.
What you gonna do?
Major Hollywood.
Well, I think the best part of the film, we can all agree, is the relationship between Reed and Ben.
Yeah, Reed
Yes.
and Ben, man.
Yes, those two.
What I especially liked is that he goes on about teamwork and being four of them, when really Reed Richards spends
Teamwork.
pretty much 3/4 of this film complaining about Ben. Where's Ben? Is Ben okay? Even though he basically ruined the lives of two other people.
It's really funny because they're trying to shoehorn in the whole, like, Reed-Sue relationship whenever it seems like Reed is more in love with Ben than...
Yeah, they did a terrible job of Reed and Sue. I expected no chemistry whatsoever.
Ben.
But I do expect an invitation to Reed and Ben's wedding.
Okay, and how do you mess up Doctor Doom? I'm sorry, but that guy is one of the greatest super villains of all time.
The only thing they really messed up is his looks. He looked ridiculous, but in terms of being like strong and powerful, he was actually like
That's actually kind of cool.
Like far away
good
shots
thing.
when he's standing and like behind the portal thing, he looked kind of
There was
badass.
some
And then you
cool
just
stuff.
zoom in on his face, and then
Then again, I
everything
didn't really
falls.
understand his plan at all. Like, what was he trying to do?
he clearly said he wanted to destroy the world.
He wanted to
But
destroy
why?
the world.
Because he
motives?
was left behind.
I don't really care for that.
He wanted to destroy the world to save his world, because apparently a world where there is literally no other life but has kept you alive, that's more important than a world full of like what was it, 6 billion, maybe 7 billion people.
It's 7 billion.
I mean, you know, a lot can happen in a year.
Trump's not president yet. Didn't kill him yet.
Oh wow.
Kill him, yeah.
I actually understand their idea in trying to adapt Ultimate Fantastic Four just to like connect with maybe the audience that they were trying to reach, but they kind of missed the mark even with that.
I'm gonna be honest. Some emphasis on some things I liked. But after finishing, I'd rather be watching
The Tim Story Fantastic
the
Four.
Fantastic Four from 2005, because you know. Let's see. Let's go through the cast. Kate Mara feels bland. Just
She does in that movie. Did you
In
see
that
the
character, yes, Jessica Alba. You know, she's okay. She felt, I don't know. Actually, there's really no connection. Both of them didn't really do that great of a job. Chris Evans was far more, you know, charming and appealing than Michael B. Jordan, even though Michael B. Jordan's a fantastic actor.
Oh yeah, did you guys see Creed? That was really
Yes,
good.
Creed was great. Michael Chiklis played the Thing, you know.
He's gonna
Again,
remain chickless.
Michael Chiklis.
actually, I
was
felt like
Shield.
I felt like Ben was probably the best character of them all in terms of like their personality. I know
Where's Reed?
Ben has the most tragic story. Ben, you know, you can actually kind of relate to the most. So I thought he did a better job than Michael Chiklis.
then,
And
Ben just
whoever
got
Ion
abused.
Gruffud is,
I don't even
I don't know how to
you
pronounce his
that
name,
right.
but I really don't remember his performance. And Miles Teller was kind of okay.
Yeah, Miles Teller. Yeah,
Miles Teller kinda pulls it off.
rip-off
He's just a good
John
actor.
Cusack did a good job. Yeah.
But overall, I'd rather watch this Fantastic Four. 'Cause at least it's cheesy and it knows what it is.
I honestly really like the Rise of the Silver Surfer more than I like that original. Fantastic
Either one of them I watched
Four.
before I'd watch this again.
Yeah, that's true.
Do all you agree?
Or guys, we could just go watch the Avengers. You know, that's like.
Or any Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Or the
yeah.
Dark Knight
I mean,
trilogy.
these are
Other
technically
than
Marvel
this.
movies, so
Yeah,
Any
or like Marvel Cinematic
movie
Universe.
other
movies.
Did
than
you guys see how
that.
they were trying to make like X2 at the ending, where they're threatening the president, guys? Except X2 did it like really well, and the Fantastic Four did not.
So, question to you, audience of one: What do you think? What do you think the worst superhero film ever was? Any one of you want to jump in?
I'm offended that you said audience
I
of
was
one.
playing off of
Hero.
David's joke.
I
There'll
know
be
he's being
more.
too generous.
The
There's
worst
no one watching.
superhero
What do you?
movie ever.
So,
This is me like really just being angry and kind of lashing out a little bit.
He's being real.
But I gotta say, it's gotta be Batman v Superman. They
Really?
No.
Like it got to a point wherever those characters.
You're trying to tell me this was a better movie than Batman v Superman?
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Wow.
The thing is, it got to the point wherever those characters weren't Batman and Superman. They just
This wasn't the Fantastic Four.
Well, it wasn't the Fantastic Four, but it wasn't Batman v Superman.
Zachary, what do you think the worst superhero film is?
The worst superhero film, Man of Steel.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like that one either. I really don't.
Man of
How
Steel.
come?
Right?
How come?
Like, trust me, guys. Okay, listen. I'm the biggest Superman fan and the biggest Batman fan. Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder's run is amazing on Batman. But, and go read that, by the way. But, these movies are just not good at all. They don't carry any of the things that these characters stand for.
Batman v Superman, David has already spoiled for me because I really have no intention of ever seeing it.
Yeah, it's basically Block of Wood versus Red Hood.
And Man of
Jason
Steel,
Todd.
I remember seeing with David and Zachary and a couple other friends, and I remember thinking, like, I thought the first half was actually pretty great. And then once he kept knocking over every building in sight, I thought it kind of fell off from there.
It starts
But
bashing you with its sound.
before we go on another
Bashing
rant,
you
David, worst superhero film?
Batman and Robin.
Ooh.
We all know why, but why?
Like, honestly, that one's fun to watch.
Because of the
'cause
11
it's funny.
minutes.
David got fucked
why don't you
over
tell
by
the audience the story?
Yeah, why don't you tell
Let's
them?
just skip that.
Nah, seriously,
No,
come
please,
on,
you
man.
brought it up.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, well, I will.
No.
Go ahead.
In the movie, when Mr. Freeze freezes people, he said you have 11 minutes before you die. So, at one point, David just started timing, and then two of the scientists were unfrozen in 10 minutes and 58 seconds. So we all know the seizure David must have had. Any other reason why it's the worst?
It's just horrible. There's no character development. There's no plot.
Oh, you mean like cryogenically frozen in water that's still running somehow? There's still bubbles in there.
Yeah, I mean, it has a more cohesive plot and motives. No, it has
Jesse
less.
Eisenberg and Batman
No, it
v
has-
Superman, but yeah.
I've never seen...
less cohesive plot than Batman v Superman. Like that movie makes more sense than this.
I agree with David, especially since I've never seen more of a bratty and dickish performance of any superhero character more than Chris O'Donnell's Robin.
Wax lips.
Like, he spends
At
the
least
whole...
Batman Forever is just
He spends
fine.
the whole movie with an ego, even though he's Robin, and thinking that Poison Ivy's in love with him and using it as a reason to be a dick to Batman.
The powers of boners are strong.
So, I don't know how you can have a high and mighty ego complex when you're Batman's sidekick and you're wearing red and green tights.
I want a Batmobile. Right?
Chicks, I want a car. Chicks dig the car. But worst superhero film for me.
Fuck you, Robin. You don't get a car.
That's...
Speaking of cars, did the Human Torch ever get his back by the end of the movie?
he did not get his car back.
He got his car back.
Well, worse for me, there's not a lot of films I hate because when it comes to movies, you know, I'm not like a specific movie critic. Like, I don't like to waste my time with bad movies unless we're having like a bad movie night. But like, a lot of the stuff is just mediocre. Like, really,
I
probably.
thought you were gonna go off the grid, baby.
So these aren't the worst. These are the most mediocre to me. Fant4stic was mediocre, and Thor: The Dark World was very mediocre. But I pretty much loved every other Marvel Cinematic movie. Basically, I haven't seen either Thor, but everything's
I'll never
good.
forgive you.
Yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy is great. Every other DC film, Man of Steel again was good for the first half. Batman v Superman, I don't want to see ever because I don't want to hurt myself. In my mind, even though Ben Affleck's been said to be great.
Okay, Batfleck wasn't that bad, but still.
It's okay, Mitchell.
No, he's probably the best.
So really, on my scale, it's either really, for a lot of people, it's either good or bad. Mine's really good or just mediocre, unless
Mitchell,
something like
it's
goes
okay.
below it, like unless something angers me, like Lady in the Water.
Oh my gosh, that was so terrible.
Yeah, Lady
10
in the
out of
Water.
10, best movie ever.
Lady in the
Story
like,
tale.
there's really good like Ferris
M. Night
Bueller.
Shyamalan.
Shut up, Zachary.
Ferris
Bueller, Back to the Future, Scott Pilgrim. That's really good, and then really bad, or mediocre, like Divergent or Lady in the Water or Spy Kids 4.
Except,
Basically, any
Ferris
Bueller
Actually,
total shit.
I've seen Divergent 1, and I never want to see the other ones. And it sucks.
The
it
other
rips
ones
off
are really
everything.
bad.
But Zachary, what did you say before?
You mean the fact that Ferris Bueller's Day Off is just total ass?
Guess what? Now the audience has won. Because you just said that.
The audience.
No, it's about negative
Yeah,
one.
it dropped to negative. We have demons.
We have to pay
listening
people
to us
now.
Oh, man.
Because they had to listen to
Because
that.
no one, I've never been anyone who said Ferris Bueller is shit.
Well, I mean, there's better movies from that era.
There's better movies, but no one's ever said,
Like The
I
Breakfast
actively
Club
hate
or
this
16
sucks.
Candles are the best one, Better Off Dead.
Yeah, you
All right.
remember
But you
during
can't say a movie's bad or good by comparing it to other really good
Let's
movies.
switch out of negatives. What's the best or your favorite movie of superheroes? Joey?
Favorite superhero movies. Well, I guess that I gotta go with like an old category and a newer category. Like I guess my favorite modern superhero movie is The Avengers because it's probably the most watchable superhero movie. Like if I ever catch that on television, I'll continue to watch it, or if I actually just have it, I'm like in the mood to watch something that's just a blast. It's The Avengers. It hits every single mark. As far as old films, Superman the movie, you can't go wrong with that movie. It's amazing. It's still the best Superman film they've released.
I'll have to see that one.
Yeah. It's
All
really
right,
good.
David?
Come back to me.
Okay, Zachary? Best superhero film?
Out of like the 5 you've seen.
Man of Steel.
Okay,
Really?
Zachary has no comment.
Start running.
Did you
Yeah,
hear him
I
say
w-
it's the best and worst film he's ever seen?
I will come and get you if you say
it's-
Man of Steel.
It's the best, worst film I've ever seen.
What's the best film you've ever seen of superheroes?
Zachary? Yes.
Well, in terms of DC, The Dark Knight, I don't need to explain why.
Ooh, The Dark Knight is a good
And
one.
Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy. And a lot of people are like, you know,
Very watchable.
I'm going to say this. Everything works.
Yeah.
The humor,
Just like
the
Ant-Man
soundtrack, the characters, the environments, the villains, just everything fit perfectly into place. And I feel like Marvel has the tendency to bring like
Mitch
weird
is gonna be
choices
like
for
the Stan Lee of Guardians.
weird
of the
choices
Galaxy.
for directors. Like for Civil War, Anthony and Joe Russo, the directors. Basically, there were really other films besides Captain America was You, Me, and Dupree.
Yeah, and but they also directed a lot of sitcom episodes. Like, they're guys that were really involved in the creation of Community and Arrested Development. So
And James
they had a lot of stuff behind that.
and like James Gunn for Guardians of the Galaxy. While he said like Slither and Super. While
Super was
I
good.
believe Super was good. They were like indie films. They didn't get the best reception. And like Peyton Reed for Edgar Wright dropped out of Ant-Man. Like, you know, his films I've heard are like basically average, but a lot of the films are like cheerleader movies. So
Peyton Reed, he made, what was it? It had Ian McGregor and...
Yeah, your brother talks about it a lot.
But I think it was called Farewell to Love or something like that. It was really funny. It's a great film.
But I think that Marvel takes like unorthodox directors and makes it work, and I thought Guardians of the Galaxy everything worked. Now back to David.
But that to be Civil War because it hits every plot that a superhero movie needs to hit. It has the great action. It has probably the greatest action scene in any superhero movie
That's
ever.
true.
Which
Yes,
was,
yeah.
to clarify...
It was the airport.
Yeah,
airport.
I know it was. Just want to clarify.
Well, shut up and let me talk. So
Okay,
it
buddy.
has the airport fight, which is just 17 minutes of pure nerdgasm awesomeness. And it has the comedy you need, but it's not like the Avengers where it's overblowing, where everything is just a one-liner in the Age of Ultron. It actually just every once in a while they'll throw in a good joke. And it also has, like, drama and, like, it makes you actually give a shit about the characters instead of just being, I'm evil, I'll do evil things. It's like, no, I'm evil. This is why I'm evil. This is why I don't like you.
Yeah, it kind of has that levity.
And plus, it has like a good assortment of characters. It's not just a single person's movie. It's a giant ensemble, and it works great. It works not only just as a Captain America sequel, it also works as Avengers 2.5.
I don't know, like, you guys won't get this, but it kind of gave me a big vibe of, like, Jonathan Hickman's Avengers run over the past few years. Like, it just had so many connected parts and so many involving parts, and it was really an amazing thing to experience. So, yeah, you guys won't get that, but probably some people, if you're actually listening, will understand what I'm talking about.
Civil War was great. I think it's a great setup for Infinity War in like a year or two.
No, not even going to be called that anymore.
Yeah, they're not going to be
No,
called
the
Infinity.
Russo
They're gonna
brothers
change
decided
the
that they're
titles.
going to change the titles because right now it makes it sound like Infinity War Part 1 and 2, like they're direct sequels, where it's more gonna be like they're sequels in the way Age of Ultron is a sequel to Avengers. You don't need to watch one to get the other. They're kind of like almost their standalone thing. So they're
I feel like
they changed the part one part. Like they're actually changing the whole.
No, they're changing the most. So it'll be
I
Avengers.
feel like that's the best thing to do, because the thing is that you don't want to give people the impression that they need to watch both films, because honestly, like as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe goes, they can get away with part 1 and part 2, but I don't think that they want to go down that road, which is good.
I mean, that's something the Marvel Cinematic Universe isn't doing. There's no, like, part 1 to part 2. Every movie is just a different title. There's Iron Man. Well, then there's Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. All right, ignore the Iron Man movie. Shut up.
Captain America 1, 2, 3, and Hulk 1 and 2, and Thor 1 and 2.
No, but there's Captain America, the First Avenger, then Winter Soldier, then Civil War. There's Thor, then Thor: The Dark World. Then there's Avengers. Then there's Age of Ultron. Now we're getting who knows what. So instead of just being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's each one's a new title. Which, and if they continue with Phase 4 and 5 or whatever, it means we're not going to be like, oh, they're making Avengers 11. No, it's Avengers Secret Invasion.
Iron Man's like really the only series in there, like you
That
have to
would be
watch
great.
one to get the other, but even then you can just sit down and watch any of them.
Then again, Secret Invasion would have to involve the Skrulls, which would have to involve the Fantastic Four, which hopefully will have the rights reverted back to Marvel at that point.
Can we get the Fantastic Four that we just viewed tonight?
That's not. So we didn't.
No!
Can we get that?
What would be really funny is that if Marvel cast all the same people as the Fantastic Four and then made an even better movie.
But I forgot to ask for Fantastic Four scores.
4.
1.
3.
I'm gonna give it a 4 because that's shoehorning the title just like the.
Just
All
like
of
that
it.
ending.
Way to not say 2 and just ruin the whole thing, Mitchell.
But really, I'm not gonna watch it again ever. 3 or 4. It's just not.
That's
great.
the third time I saw that movie. I'm not gonna
Wow,
watch
that's
sad.
sad to hear.
That's torturous.
it. Yeah.
Why would you watch that a second time?
I
Well,
really need to laugh.
is that
He said the first time he was like interested, the second time he did it for laughs, the third time was now.
Well, we were making fun
Peer
of it
pressure.
the entire way through, so. Ha! Peer pressure.
well,
Peer pressure.
that wraps up all the superhero thoughts. Anything else to say?
No, I think that pretty much wraps up the superhero thoughts. We basically laid down the law, we set up superhero thoughts, and we're, almost 33 minutes into this.
And
Anything else to say in general?
They need to make that Santa Claus superhero movie. Come on, Marvel, get it done.
go
Yeah.
see Green Room. It hasn't made enough money. It's a great movie.
Go see the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
No.
That was a great Disney film.
Stop.
Also, Santa Claus 2 and Santa Claus 3.
You're a bad person.
Oh, actually, on the note of Santa Claus, there's this great series that's actually running. It's a mini-series from Boom Studios, and Grant Morrison is writing, and Dan Moore is doing the art, and it's called Klaus, and it's basically like Santa Claus Year 1. It's basically like mixing a lot of European elements into, and it's like a gritty kind of like stylized origin for Santa Claus. It's really cool. Check that out. 5th issue just came out this week.
I'm also interested in Krampus.
Ha!
I want to see it just to see it.
It wasn't that bad.
Like, look at the poster. That enough sells me.
Okay, guys, are we wrapping this up?
Yeah, I think we might
Well,
want to wrap this up.
Thank you to all for tuning in to
Thank
City
you
in the
for
Twilight.
the one person that tuned in.
Episode 1. Everyone gets to sign off. So,
Okay,
that was a Spock symbol from David because
yeah,
he doesn't
Dave-
like to talk.
Yeah, David's not verbally signing off, apparently. How about our guest here?
Okay, well, I will sign off with, like, the best words of a person signing off. It is not only the end, but it is only the beginning.
Well, this
got some forethought
podcast,
to this stuff.
this podcast was fantastic.
Hey guys, I got a great
going to
idea
hell
about
for
what our
this.
name should be. Dun 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 dun.
That
Alright.
ending was terrible.
Thanks for tuning into episode 1. Make sure to listen to this on SoundCloud and subscribe to us on YouTube. And
subscribe to our YouTube or SoundCloud. Just
that's what I just
subscribe
said. You don't
to
need
all
to
of
say
that.
it again. All right.
do everything.
Thanks from Joey, David, Zachary, and Mitchell.
Throw money at us.
We'll
All right, that has been the City of Twilight. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Good night.